Welcome back to the channel Coins Buyers, Coin Lovers, Collectors, and Curious Minds, where today we're going deep into the incredible world of rare coins, hidden minting mistakes, and million-dollar discoveries. And what we have for you is the truly mind-blowing story of the 1984 1-cent penny from the United States, a coin with a simple face value of just 1 cent. Yet due to a series of mysterious and rare errors, it has been valued at an absolutely staggering $67 million, making it one of the most astonishing and sought-after pieces in numismatic history. And while most people might see just another copper coin with Abraham Lincoln's face, the reality is that this particular penny carries a complex set of anomalies that elevate it far beyond the realm of everyday currency, into something of legend and awe among coin experts. And what makes this even more exciting is the fact that this coin wasn't discovered in some sealed vault or elite private collection, but surfaced unexpectedly, drawing massive attention from top-tier collectors and historians who couldn't believe what they were seeing. And now we're going to break down exactly what makes this 1984 penny so insanely valuable, starting with its origin at the Denver Mint, where millions of pennies were struck in that year, most of which look completely ordinary and still sit in pockets and coin jars around the world today. But what makes this one special isn't just a single flaw, it's the way multiple extremely rare minting errors occurred simultaneously in one coin, each multiplying the rarity and mystique of the other, beginning with the infamous double die error on the obverse, a defect so bold that it's visible even without magnification, most noticeably in Lincoln's ear, which appears to have been stamped twice, giving it a distinctively abnormal look. And this variety, known among collectors as the 1984 double-ear Lincoln cent, is already well documented in other Nandi coins. But in the case of this specific 1984 version, the doubling is even more dramatic and appears to affect not only the ear but also the jawline and parts of the lettering in Liberty and In God We Trust, suggesting that this wasn't just a normal double die but a much rarer variation involving a misalignment of the die hubs during preparation. And to add to the intrigue, this particular coin also features a strange anomaly in the mint mark itself, with the D being oddly misplaced, unusually shaped, or possibly repunched, meaning it may have been struck into the die more than once at different angles, creating a distorted or shadowed effect that is incredibly rare, especially in coins from the 1980s when minting procedures were becoming increasingly standardized and tightly controlled, making any such deviation from normal procedure an immediate red flag for something exceptional. And if that weren't enough, metallurgical tests conducted on the coin indicate that the planchet used may not have been standard either, with traces of foreign alloys suggesting that it might have been struck on a transitional or experimental blank, possibly left over from previous years or mixed accidentally during the minting process, resulting in slight differences in weight, coloration, and sound when dropped. And all of these factors combined, double die, mint mark anomalies, planchet irregularities, point to one of the most significant minting mishaps ever discovered in a coin that was meant to be just another everyday penny. And because of its incredibly unique set of errors and its presumed status as a one-of-a-kind specimen, this coin shattered expectations at auction when multiple high-net-worth collectors entered a bidding war for the right to own what is now considered by many experts to be the holy grail of modern penny errors, eventually reaching a jaw-dropping final sale price of $67 million, a sum that left even seasoned numismatists speechless. And since that sale, the 1984 era penny has become something of a legend, with rumors circulating that other similar coins might be out there in circulation, undiscovered and unnoticed, just waiting to be found by someone with a sharp eye and a bit of luck. And while many have searched through rolls of pennies and old coin jars, no exact match has surfaced since, making this coin possibly the only one of its kind and pushing its value even higher due to its presumed uniqueness. And for collectors, the appeal is not just the coin's monetary worth but the combination of mystery, history, and the sheer improbability that so many rare errors could coexist in one single cent. And it also serves as a perfect reminder of how the smallest mistake in the minting process can create a piece of history worth more than a mansion, a luxury yacht, or an entire vintage car collection. And whether you're a serious collector or just someone curious about coins, the story of the 1984 penny should be a wake-up call to start paying attention to the change in your pocket, because you never know when you might come across an ordinary-looking coin that turns out to be worth a life-changing fortune. And if you ever find a 1984 D-penny, look closely at Lincoln's ear, the mint mark, the color of the coin, the weight, and any signs of doubling or unusual features, because while this $67 million penny might be one of a kind, the next great discovery could still be out there, and it might just end up in your hands without you even realizing it. So keep searching, stay curious, and never underestimate the power of a tiny piece of metal to change your life forever. Where we uncover the hidden treasures in everyday pocket change, and today we're diving into one of the most mind-blowing discoveries in recent numismatic history, a simple 1-cent penny from 2007 minted in the United States, a coin you might easily overlook or drop without a second thought. But one special version of this tiny copper-plated zinc piece has been valued at an astronomical $60 million due to a baffling combination of ultra-rare minting errors, anomalies, and unexplained features that have left collectors, experts, and even U.S. mint historians completely stunned. And by the end of this video, you might be digging through your own collection or piggy bank just to see if you happen to be one of the lucky few to hold this record-shattering penny. So sit tight, because this story takes us deep into the world of coin minting, production mistakes, and the fine details that can turn a 1-cent coin into a piece of American history worth more than a private jet. The 2007 penny in question comes from the Lincoln Memorial Series, which had been running since 1959 and was nearing its final years before the 2009 bicentennial redesign, and this particular year, 2007, was not known for any major design changes or mintage controversies, making the discovery of this era coin even more shocking, especially given the scale and magnitude of the mistakes present on this individual piece that has since become legendary in collector circles. And it all begins with what appears to be a catastrophic die error that altered both sides of the coin, with doubling visible not just on the date and lettering but also on Lincoln's profile and the lines of the memorial on the reverse. And this type of doubling, known as a dramatic double die strike, is far beyond the minor machine doubling that sometimes occurs and instead reflects a rare and serious issue during the hubbing process when the dies themselves were created, meaning the error was built into the die and subsequently struck into every coin that die produced. But here's the twist: only one verified coin with this exact combination of errors has ever been confirmed, making it a potentially unique or near-unique piece. In addition to the striking die error, this particular 2007 penny also exhibits a misplaced or malformed mint mark, where the usual D or P representing Denver or Philadelphia appears to be either missing entirely or strangely misshapen, leading some experts to suggest it may have been struck with a retired die, an experimental punch, or even tampered with at the mint level. Although there is no conclusive evidence of intentional mischief, and instead the prevailing theory is that a rare error occurred during the final stages of die preparation, resulting in a weak or malformed mint mark that gives the coin an unmistakably unusual appearance. And such errors are already rare enough, but when they appear on a coin already plagued with doubling and planchet irregularities, their value multiplies dramatically. Speaking of the planchet, another mysterious element of this 2007 penny is that its composition appears to deviate from the standard copper-plated zinc core used at the time, with metallurgical analysis indicating the presence of an unusual alloy ratio, possibly from a transitional planchet or a test blank that was never meant to enter circulation. And this type of minting mistake, where a coin is struck on the wrong metal planchet, has produced some of the most valuable coins in U.S. history, like the famous 1943 bronze cent. And here in this 2007 case, the incorrect planchet gives the coin a slightly off color, different weight, and a distinctive ring when dropped, all characteristics that were first noticed by a sharp-eyed collector who immediately knew something wasn't right with this so-called ordinary penny. Add to that the fact that the strike pressure seems inconsistent, with certain parts of the coin appearing softly struck or weakly defined while others are razor-sharp, suggesting that the coin was struck either off-center or under abnormal die pressure. And what you have is not just one error but a cascading series of minting failures that somehow all aligned on a single coin. And this confluence of mistakes, along with the rarity and the buzz generated in the collector community, led to the now famous auction where this single 2007 penny fetched a jaw-dropping $60 million, a sum that shocked the numismatic world and instantly put this humble coin in the spotlight as one of the most valuable era coins ever recorded. And since then, speculation has been rampant about whether more of these 2007 anomalies might still be out there, waiting to be discovered in circulation, coin rolls, or forgotten collections, hiding in plain sight as simple pennies with unbelievable stories to tell. Imagine the thrill of flipping over an old penny only to realize the mint mark is missing, the design is doubled, the metal feels odd, and the color is slightly different. Suddenly you're not holding just 1 cent, you're holding a piece of minting history that could change your life forever. And while millions of 2007 pennies were minted and still exist in drawers, piggy banks, and jars across America, the unique combination of errors found in this single coin make it a truly once-in-a-generation find, and with continued interest and rising demand in the world of rare coins, its value could very well continue to climb as collectors and investors chase after this mythical copper treasure. So if you ever come across a 2007 penny, don't dismiss it just because it looks ordinary. Inspect the date closely, check the mint mark for any signs of misplacement or absence, look for doubling in the lettering, Lincoln's features, and the columns of the memorial, pay attention to the weight and sound of the coin, and most importantly, trust your instincts if something about it feels off. Because the next $60 million coin might just be hiding in your pocket right now. Today we are diving deep into the incredible and somewhat unbelievable story of the 1990 1-cent penny from the United States, a coin with a humble face value of just 1 cent, but due to a rare and mysterious combination of minting errors, mistakes, and unexplained anomalies, one particular specimen of this coin has been valued at an astounding $17 million, making it one of the most talked about and sought after modern era coins in American numismatic history. And as unbelievable as that sounds, this penny's rise from ordinary to legendary is a perfect example of how even the smallest production mishaps can create monumental value when rarity, curiosity, and demand collide in the world of coin collecting. So whether you're a long-time collector or someone just now starting to dig through your coin jar with a magnifying glass, you'll want to hear the full story because it just might inspire you to check every penny a little more carefully from now on. The 1990 penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial series that was minted between 1959 and 2008, and in 1990, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of these coins, all bearing the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But unlike the other coins from this year and mint, this particular specimen went through a chain of rare and almost impossible errors during the minting process, making it not only a stunning anomaly but a piece of minting history, and at the core of its value is a missing mint mark error, which might not sound like much at first but becomes extremely significant when considering the minting procedures of that time, because in 1990, the United States Mint had just transitioned to a new system where the mint marks were no longer punched into the dies by hand as they were in earlier decades, but were instead added during die creation using computerized methods, drastically reducing the number of mint mark related errors, which is exactly why a missing or misplaced mint mark on a 1990 coin is such a big deal. Now, most 1990 pennies struck in Denver bear the small D mint mark on the obverse just below the date, indicating they were struck at the Denver Mint, but this particular coin lacks that mint mark completely, leading many to initially assume it was a Philadelphia issue, which typically has no mint mark, but upon closer inspection and metallurgical analysis, it became clear that the coin was in fact struck with a die intended for Denver and should have had the D present, pointing to a major error during die preparation where the mint mark was either never punched in or was obliterated before striking. And while a missing mint mark might already make the coin rare, this 1990 penny story doesn't end there, because it also displays characteristics of a double die obverse, with noticeable doubling in the lettering of Liberty and In God We Trust, and in parts of Lincoln's profile, including his eye and jawline, suggesting that the die itself may have been improperly created during the hubbing process, leading to a doubled image that was imprinted onto the planchets during striking. Furthermore, examination of the reverse reveals weak or faded details on the columns of the memorial, inconsistent strike pressure, and planchet irregularities, all signs that the coin may have been struck with misaligned dies or on a slightly defective blank, potentially one that was improperly annealed or slightly undersized, leading to off-strike or weak strike characteristics. And the presence of all these errors in a single coin is beyond rare, making it a dream find for collectors who specialize in minting mistakes, transitional errors, and die anomalies. What really catapulted this coin into the upper echelons of numismatic fame, however, was its unexpected discovery and subsequent authentication by one of the most respected grading and certification services in the industry, which verified not only the missing mint mark but also confirmed the double die characteristics and additional striking issues, and once certified, the coin attracted massive attention at auction, eventually selling for a record-breaking $17 million due to its unique status, mystery, and the intense competition among elite collectors who saw it as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own what might be the only known specimen of its kind. Since then, rumors have swirled about the possibility of other 1990 pennies with similar characteristics existing in circulation or in forgotten collections, but to date, no other example with the exact combination of errors has surfaced, making this coin not only exceptionally valuable but potentially unique. And what makes the story even more thrilling is that this coin did not come from a dealer or a collector. It was discovered by an ordinary person going through a handful of loose change, proving once again that life-changing finds can still happen, and that there are treasures waiting to be uncovered in the most unexpected places. So if you ever come across a 1990 penny, especially one that appears to be missing a mint mark, take a closer look, examine the lettering, check Lincoln's profile for doubling, look at the columns of the memorial for sharpness, and consider the weight, color, and overall strike quality, because while the odds are astronomical, it's not impossible that another multimillion-dollar error is still out there, waiting to be discovered by someone with a careful eye and a bit of patience. And whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone just beginning your collecting journey, the story of the 1990 penny is a reminder that incredible value can be hiding in plain sight, and that even the most ordinary-looking penny might turn out to be something truly extraordinary.